All right, ladies and gentlemen, and my non-binary bros, we're about to blast off in a moment, so stay tuned. Rogamania broadcast is about to begin. We got many things to talk about today, mostly the bombshell that Yoshi-P dropped in a recent interview. We're gonna cover that as well. Is Final Fantasy XIV about to be reborn again? We'll find out. I'm muted. No. I'm okay. We're back. We're back. I hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. And so far, your Monday has been great. Like I say, I was playing on Dokkan Battle. Just let it play out by yourself there. So, we got a bunch of things to talk about regarding Final Fantasy 14. I'm also seeing the Video Game Awards shows are revealing the nominees, so I gotta check that out after this. So yeah, let me close off Twitter and get distracted here. All right, so the lighting is kind of weird today. It's very, very dark, very blurry. Let me see if I can fix the lighting. I don't like the lighting. I need more light. Oh, this is so much better, brother. So much better. So, Yoshi-P had an interview, and he said a few things that we should probably talk about for my Final Fantasy 14 players out there. This may be a good thing, may be nothing. Who knows, right? The fact of the matter is that he said something about taking the next step in Final Fantasy 14 to make it more like a rebirth of Final Fantasy, like they did in Realm Reborn. Now, personally, I don't think that we're gonna have another Realm Reborn moment. What I think it means is that basically, the Final Fantasy 14 development team is gonna be working like it was El Realm Reborn. They're gonna be more detailed and more careful on what they do. So let me get the interview up if I can find it. Yeah, it's probably among the lines of Cataclysm, World of Warcraft, and A World Reborn. But I honestly feel that the changes they're gonna make are mostly like graphical user interface, maybe a brand new zone to level up from 1 to 100. Let me see. Okay, I got the site Korean to English. This is Google Translate, so it's bound to be bad. It's not even translating correctly. Hold on. I have to go to Google and do it manually. Let me open the window over here. Just capture. Translate. Open the window in a second. There's also a lot of details that he talked about, things that he wants to bring over. A lot of positive things for the Korean and Chinese versions of the games. They're going to be globally on par with what we got. So their next patch 7.5 is going to release at the same time as ours. So that's great. Okay, so this is an interview that's doing rounds on social media about what Yoshi-P said and what's next for the next 10 years. The Korean version of Final Fantasy 14 has finally received the same. Oh, what? Whoa, Google, please stop. Let's start again. All right. The Korean version of Final Fantasy XIV has finally received the same updates as the global version. After a full 10 years, Korean users have finally waited. So basically, this is Google Translate here issue. So after finally 10 years, the Korean users are now up to date or on par with the global users. And that's great. So along this exciting news, a welcome guest is Naoki Yoshida. I hate Google Translate so much. Along this exciting news, a welcome guest is Naoki Yoshida, the director and producer of Final Fantasy XIV, revisiting Korea for the first time in a long while. Producer Yoshida gave a lecture at the G-Star conference and hosted a broadcast called Yoshida's Walk. Okay. We sat down with the producer Yoshida to discuss the 10th anniversary of the Korean service, Cafe Crystarium, the simultaneous global release, and the future direction of Final Fantasy XIV as an MMORPG. Producer Yoshida expressed his joy at the game's successful 10-year run in Korea and expressed his commitment to ensuring that players around the world can continue to enjoy the game. Okay, Google Translate, whatever you say. The interview was conducted by Korean media outlet. Okay, probably this guy's Invent. Okay, 10 hours. Okay, here's a question. So this is a part that basically I want to highlight that now we're going to be on par with the Korean brothers over there. And that's great. They won't have to like wait a couple of extra months to get their content. Of course, there's going to be some dichotomy here. Basically, if you're a raider from Korea, you're probably going to come to the NA servers or EU servers, whatever is closer for you. Use VPN, and you're going to clear all the content there. So when the patch drops on Korea, you're going to have a little bit of a head advantage. So yeah, that for me is a positive that everyone is on equal grounds. All right, continuing on. It says here. Question. The Korean service has reached its 10th anniversary. What are your thoughts? This is probably Yoshi-P. Let me see. Yeah, that's Yoshi-P, all right, answering. We've reached this turning point, the 10th anniversary of the Korean service. I'd like to thank everyone who has been with us, including the users, community, and media, starting with the Ultima Online, the genesis of MMORPG. That is true. Ultima Online was the originator, the one that started it all for MMORPGs. I never got the chance to play Ultima Online because internet connections over here were really, really bad. Let me do something because... Oh, hello, bro. How you doing, brother? I started with PSO Online. Was it? I can't remember what I started this. I'm so old now. All right, this is better for everyone. This is better. Okay, so basically they're here celebrating the 10-year anniversary of the Korean release of Final Fantasy XIV. And Yoshida hosted a broadcast called Yoshida's Walk. And the question that they asked him here was that the Korean service has reached 10-year anniversary. What are your thoughts? We've reached the turning point at the 10th anniversary of the Korean service. I'd like to thank everyone who has been with us, including the users, community, and media, starting with Ultima Online. So a lot of people started with Ultima Online. I didn't have the privilege to start with Ultima Online. The internet where I live wasn't that great to run Ultima Online. It was expensive for me back then. I was just a kid. So if anything, my first actual MMO experience came from Final Fantasy XI. Because I did try old school RuneScape back in the day, but it wasn't for me. So I just jumped into 11. And that was the game I loved so much. And then I jumped into World of Warcraft and I played that for so long. And I played other MMOs like Rift, Aeon, Terra Online, etc. And of course, Fantasy Star Online was basically, it wasn't an MMO, but you know, It was an online game, one of my first online games on the Dreamcast. Anywho, the genesis of MMORPGs, that is correct. Many excellent titles have been released in Korea. As a veteran MMORPG player, I witnessed its history. Play Outro? Nice. Lord of the Rings Online. I never got to play Lord of the Rings Online. Okay, it says here, Korea's MMO market is fiercely competitive with many discerning players, making it a truly challenging market compared to Japan. I'm proud that Final Fantasy XIV has enjoyed 10-year-long service in such a high-skill market. He's right. Korea has tons of MMORPGs. I mean, you can go back to the old Ragnarok Online. That was the Korean MMO. There was Terra Online, Aeon, Lineage, and so many more in Korea, man. I just remember Lineage. That game was fun. Okay, so where was I here? Of course, the development team's efforts and prerequisites. Wait, I got lost here. I'm proud that the Final Fantasy XIV has enjoyed 10-year service, such as high skill market. Of course, the development team's efforts are a prerequisite, but I believe that the passion of Korean users and the dedication and support of the Korean operations team made this longevity possible. Thank you. I believe that. Okay, so basically he's saying, and he's thanking the Korean-based development team for Final Fantasy XIV. Remember, the Korean version of Final Fantasy XIV is not developed by the same people. Like, it's basically Japan sends stuff to the Korean developers. They have to localize it, change it, modify it. They send it back to Japan. Japan revise it, make sure everything's in check and on point, and they send it back to Korea, and then they publish it. Things like that. It's a thing, but all that hard work that they put on had led to Final Fantasy XIV to enjoy 10 years in Korea. That's amazing, and Yoshi-P is very grateful for that. Okay, so Final Fantasy XIV is the only online. Okay, hold on. Let me read this again. Final Fantasy XIV is the only online game that officially launched in Japan and had its long official service in Korea. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's awesome. We look forward to continuing to support you, not only for our 10th anniversary, but also for our 15 and 20 anniversaries, which no other game has achieved. I look forward to your continued support. That will be amazing if Korea gets the 50th and 20th anniversary. That would be great. And I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will. So this is showing us the patch cycle and the differences. And also showing us here how patch 7.3 and 7.38 are kind of together. So the Korean patch cycle is really strange, but finally in 7.5, everything's gonna be exactly the same as it is in NA. Your friend Love was into Aeon. Yeah, I wasn't into Aeon. I really didn't like it, but I can see why people loved it. Okay, starting with 7.5, simultaneous patches will be released in Korea and the global market. I'm curious about the efforts made in the final stages and how the frequency of broadcasts will change in response to simultaneous updates. Okay, so Yoshi-P, okay. Users have waited for a long time, over 10 years. I think we've been able to get here thanks to your encouragement and support. The biggest challenge is getting here. Okay, the biggest challenge getting here, of course, the translation schedule. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier. Square Enix has staff in charge of Japanese, English, French, German. Where's the Spanish staff? Hire me, Yoshi-P. Yo puedo hablar español. No hay ningún problema. I can translate English. I can make voices in Spanish. Okay? You want to hear a Spanish Sino? I can try and do that. I don't know any Sinos quotes off my head right now, but I can try it. I can be your Grahatia. I can be your Stenian. Let's have a Spanish dub. Let's have a Spanish version of the game, man. Come on. And I don't mean like no offense to my Spanish brothers from Spain, right? But I'm talking more Latin American Spanish, okay? Because I can give you like man, I can't remember a quote off my head right now that I can translate immediately, but my mind is blocked. But I can. Hey, hire me. I'll read the lines. I'll do the job. Well, I'll help you with the translation. Hold on. And yeah, I have heard the German version of 14. It's weird and it's awesome at the same time. I can't really explain it, but I think you know that Emmett Selk quote. I know I'm going on a tangent here. You know that Emmett Selk quote where he goes, "I do not consider you truly to be alive, ergo I will not be guilty of killing you," or something like that. In Spanish, will be something like, let me get into my Emmett. Um, no te considero verdaderamente vivo. Por lo tanto, no seré culpable del asesinato. O si te mato. Or something like that. That's a horrible MXL, but hey, I can do better. I can do better. Just hire me, Square. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Now let's continue covering the news here. Okay. Users have waited truly 10 years. I think we've been able to get here thanks to your encouragement and support. The biggest challenge in getting here was, of course, the translation schedule. Okay, we'll recover that. In fact, Square Enix was a company that developed the global version later. True. It's only recently, but here's the thing. I'm sorry I'm going on a tangent here. How can you call it global when you don't cover Spanish? I'm kidding, though. Am I? Anyway, focusing here. LDL Mead. There's some really bad ones, some amazing ones. MXL was great. Bahati is great. I will die on the hill. The German Sentinels is the best one. Yeah, the Wuklamat scream was later fixed on the English version because a lot of people like to give a lot of hard time to the voice actors, but the thing is, it's the voice direction, and from what I learned is that they don't get to see what's happening. They just have to go through lines and through vibes, basically. But after I think they redid the scream, and it sounds a little bit better. I'm not gonna lie. But the German one went insane, and I remember watching Dungeon Meshi in German just for the voices. It was so good. All right. Meanwhile, Final Fantasy 14 regularly undergoes large-scale updates, adding a significant amount of text each time. The development team, including myself, works on the Japanese text until the very end. Under these circumstances, simultaneous releases in other languages were a significant risk. Makes sense. It's basically talking about the translation and how the process is done. And of course, there's always a risk when you're localizing because there's different languages. You don't want to say a bad word because it has a different meaning in another language. Let's take Spanish for example. Spanish has many words that are not considered bad, but some are really bad when you say them. There is a word for us, cake, in most of Latam, as far as I know. When you say cake, you say bizcocho. In other regions of Spanish in Latin America, that's a bad word. That's a bad word. And so, yeah, it makes sense why they're very detailed and very careful when they're trying to translate because of significant risk. And I appreciate that from anyone who does localization. Localization is not easy. A lot of the internet users from Twitter who complain about localization don't understand that localization means translating to a language you can actually understand. So they're gonna have to be using modern words like in anime when they use the words like vibe, cringe, etc. It's because it fits from the Japanese language. If you translate it one to one, it may make sense, it may not make sense, and that's a problem. All these weebs, when they complain about that, they don't understand localization. And that's something that I learned because back in 2000, I want to say 3 or 4 or something like that, I was doing manga translations for Macross 7 and for Dragon Ball back in the day. No, not Dragon Ball. My apologies. I was doing manga translations for Samurai X, Rurouni Kenshin, and Macross 7. I had a fallout with the guy, so it's fine, whatever. It's more than 20 years since then. But I know how difficult it can be. I was also working on a Gundam manga called École du Ciel for a very brief time. It was fun. It was very fun. Okay, so it says here. Yeah, localization is not easy. Even with AI, it gives you even more problems because AI will not translate it correctly. It'll give you an assumption. So you have to re-verify, and that's even more work. Anyways, back into this. It says here, however, we work hard to form a Korean translation team. That's awesome. And have conducted extensive testing. Once we've finalized the Japanese text, we hand them over to a previous version of the Korean team to begin translation. What I said earlier, now they have to go from Korea to Japan, Japan to Korea to get the translations proper. Then they hand the revised version and then continue with the translation. We also recorded voice recordings. We also recorded voice recordings during this process. After numerous tests and next tests to verify the feasibility of this project, we arrived to this point. So basically saying here that after doing all those tests, making sure the translation was accurate, that the voice recording were properly done, they arrived to the point where they are in sync now with us in 7.5, which I welcome that. I welcome that with all my arms. Welcome here. Let's give a hug to my Korean brothers and sisters and all my neighbors. All right. Welcome to Final Fantasy 14 updated. Anyways. Okay, I kind of got lost here. Hold on. I moved the mouse and where was I again? My dyslexia, it's driving me insane. Okay. Delaying the interval. I hate this. Delaying the interval between major updates by 3 weeks to increase the number of languages supported simultaneously felt like putting the cart before the horse. We tackled the challenge on how to maintain an updated cycle. Wait. Is he talking about the patch cycles? Delaying the patch cycles. I'm gonna call them patch cycles, the major updates. Delaying the patch cycles by 3 weeks, which is what it is right now, to increase the number of languages supported simultaneously felt like putting the cart before the horse. We tackled the challenge of how to maintain the update cycles while simultaneously expanding the number of supported languages. Both Korean and Chinese teams worked together to resolve this issue, simultaneously releasing. Okay, so one of the reasons why they went through the long patch cycle, according to this, to my understanding, is because they were trying to do a proper localization for Korea and China. And They're putting a lot of effort into that, so they have to tackle that challenge to maintain the update cycle while simultaneously expanding number of supported languages. So that kind of makes sense why they're saying that they're gonna probably change the patch cycles in the future. Uh, hmm. All right, because at first they said we wanted the employees to have like vacation times and all that, but I can see why you need employees to have vacation days because they're gonna be working double time or triple time with all the simultaneous, translations and supporting different languages. This makes sense. So it says here, however, going forward, it will be difficult to provide specific responses to each region. Exclusive content and pre-release costumes will be eliminated. Okay, so exclusive content and pre-release costumes, I think he's talking about the store items. Sometimes Korea and China get special looking store items, and we get them much later down the line. And it looks like that's something that they're going to change. I like that. I like that a lot. So that we're pretty much in sync now. We're gonna be a global sync now. In general. Okay, I haven't tried. Okay. Instead, we're moving. Instead, we will be all move. Hold on. Instead, we will all move forward together as one global community. It took time to prepare, but it will be realized soon. Thank you for your patience. Yeah, okay. That's great. So that means because probably Korea had the same issue. We probably get stuff first before them. And now everyone gets the same mock station or exclusive content at the same time. That's good. Okay, I haven't tried live letter yet, so I don't know. I'll try. God damn it! I'll try various things. I started providing the PowerPoint presentations for a live letter for the Chinese and Korean teams before the broadcast. This will provide 3 days before the broadcast. Even after that, revisions are made until the broadcast. Further, okay, she's talking about here. From what I'm reading here, even after that, revisions are made until the broadcast. Furthermore, because there's no script at all, providing a script in advance is impossible. Even in Europe and US, we receive PowerPoint presentations and can only guess what we'll talk about. Anyone who has seen the live letters know that Yoshi-P is really, really spontaneous. They talk about a bunch of random stuff. So I understand why he says it's impossible, to do a script because live letters are not scripted. So I want to see how they can do that in the future with a live letter. Maybe beforehand they give the teams of Korea and China notes of what to talk about and let people know. We'll see how this goes. I would like to see. Yeah, like it says here, it's a good idea to mirror live letter and have a live broadcast with the Korean interpretation and conversation with users. Or I think it would be nice to revisit the broadcast the day after. We could also leave new information in the live letter and do a Korean only broadcast right before the patch. We're trying out various formats and gathering feedback before deciding. Nothing has been decided yet. Okay, stupid Google Translate. You may think we could write a script in advance and hand it over to the global operations team, but I think that's boring, and I don't want to do that. Yeah, I like the live letters because they're real. They're not scripted, and he doesn't give you like generic response about what's coming for the game or anything like that. Those are actually good live letters, right? Okay, focusing back on this. Following simultaneous update of 7.5, will it be possible to hold fan festivals in all global regions before expansion pack? I don't think it's possible. Okay, it's realistically impossible to complete 5 regional fan fests before the expansion pack. Our main business is servicing development games, and fan festivals require significant operational costs. Yes, they're very costly. China announced that patch releases will be synchronized with 7.4 and Korea with 7.5. That's great. Fan festival schedule have already been announced for North America, Europe, and Japan. However, China and Korea are prioritized catching up. So, what is it saying? The fan festivals are for Korea and China, at least for now, will still be behind the announcements and all that. But it wouldn't surprise me in the future they do special fan festivals, even if it's at the same time as in North America or Europe. It wouldn't surprise me if they did like China, Korea, their own special fan festivals, even if Yoshi-P can't go. All right. So, furthermore, 8.0 hasn't been officially released yet. Even if 9.0 were to arrive, they are still 8.x patches ahead. If we were to hold and plan fan festivals for 28 and 29, things could change. There's no telling what the future holds. For now, China and Korea have prioritized catching up with the patch releases. I mean, it's fine. I think what people really love is the gathering of other players with the same likeness. Like they like the game, they love the game, they love to chat, just have fun, have a good experience, socialize, etc. Meet their favorite content creators from that game or whatever. That's what people like. So we'll see what happens. FanFest 2028. Look, I want to talk about FanFest before I continue here. And I'll do that later. Whatever. Conversely, with the global simultaneous release and the momentum behind it, it's possible to hold another fan festival. What's difficult so far is that we had to announce the expansion packs in Korea and China when players are already aware of them. That does suck. What would be nice, Yoshi-P? I think you should do an online fan fest, online only for China and Korea at this point. That would work for them, especially for 8.0. Just do an online only fan fest for them. Check my token. Anyways. Okay. All right, we're back. We will continue. Oh, sorry, I read that wrong. We will work hard to achieve simultaneous releases in the future. Let me reiterate. I view Final Fantasy XIV as a global game. As a member of the Final Fantasy XIV community, I hope the entire world can play together, and since the patches will be consistent in the future, I hope we can have something like a Final Fantasy XIV World Cup. Do you have any idea how awesome that sounds? Yoshi-P has always wanted to have a PvP World Cup for Final Fantasy XIV. And I think we're getting closer to that. But here's something. If you want a World Cup for Final Fantasy XIV PvP, or even like racing for the world first or whatever, if you want to have that, you need better moderation for Final Fantasy XIV Crystal Conflict. There's too many win traders at the higher ranks of Ultima and whatever. Omega is the other one. Yeah. Ultima and Omega. There's too many win traders. We need better moderation. But having a Final Fantasy XIV World Cup, that would be amazing. Stop that, Google. Jeez. Is there any way I can disable that? No. Anyways, next question is Final Fantasy XIV is available in many countries, and Korea doesn't seem to be on top in terms of user numbers. Nevertheless, we've consistently provided services for North Korea. What does the Korean version mean to Final Fantasy XIV? The long-held dream of simultaneous updates of the Korean and global versions is now realized. I don't believe Final Fantasy 14 is divided by country. I view Final Fantasy 14 as a single global community. I always keep this in mind. Yoshi-P, you keep this in mind, but does this mean that in the future you're going to make Party Finder data center free? In other words, if I have a friend from Ether data center and I have a guy from Primal data center and I'm from Crystal, can we just put up a Party Finder and everyone joins in? Because right now Party Finders are limited to data centers. You can do cross worlds and whatnot. My apologies. You can do cross world parties, but when it comes to data center, that's not really possible. And I would like to see that. I would like to be able to play with all the NA data centers at the same time. So if you really try to be truly global, I think it would be amazing if you just start removing those restrictions. Maybe those restrictions exist because the game servers work in a different way and it might be a little bit complicated. Yeah, I understand that. But if World of Warcraft can do it, and many other games can do it with lesser hardware, I do not see why 14 cannot do it unless it's a cost thing and Square Enix doesn't want to provide with the cost and all that. I understand. But it would be nice if we see like data center wide party finders. That would be amazing. And data center wide Crystalline Conflict as well. Okay, moving back here. Okay, when conducting marketing campaigns, even within single gaming communities, growth environments vary by region. Entertainment, food, and trends vary. Real society itself has distinct characteristics across countries. To ensure the massive Final Fantasy 14 community resonates with each country, we're actively collaborating and partnering with by examining trends and user preferences. In other words, the operations teams identifies and prioritizes what users will enjoy. This is our current policy. And it shows. That's why you see some of the changes in Final Fantasy 14 that sometimes leave your head scratching, but it's because it's what the users are doing. What the users, in layman terms, whatever the users whining about. So they make the changes to make everyone feel happy, I guess. Okay, continuing on. When conducting marketing or campaigns in each country, we don't focus only on the number of users in that region. Instead, we prioritize how to expand from there. For example, if a region has 50,000 users, we don't just launch a campaign for that number. If we have 50,000 passionate users, we believe we can grow from there. We boldly incorporate these initiatives into our campaigns. We also incorporate the unique characteristics for each country operation staff into our campaign development. So basically what he's saying here is that in order to get more users, to bring more users, if there are 50,000 users who love the game, all right, let's see what we can do so we can get 50 more. So to do a campaign for 100,000 users or more. Basically marketing stuff. Many young Korean developers. What's this? LOD has admit there's a limit. Some really good and awesome ones. And I saw. Well, I read this. Sorry. All right, back to this. Many young Korean developers have gone to SingOn to listen. Do you have any advice for them? I tend to decline corporate speaking engagements, but I try to give to students whenever possible. Huh? So okay, he doesn't want to do the corporate speak, but he tries to give advice to students. Okay. I'm here thanks to many senior colleagues, and I also want to give back. I always ask people who aspire to enter the gaming industry, what do they want to do? There are many different roles within the gaming industry, and the specialized knowledge, motivation, and approach required for each role vary greatly. That's why I ask them what are their goals. What are their goals? No, because I need to understand that before I can offer advice. One common advice I give is to play a lot of games, regardless of your profession. Don't limit yourself to your favorite genres. This is true. When approaching and developing games professionally, you can't necessarily create games you enjoy. It's not professional to lack knowledge of genre because you don't like it. That's why I advise them to play a wide variety of games across a variety of genres. Another advice is to avoid leaving a simple impression after playing. Even casual players have a simple appreciation for a genre. If you thought it wasn't fun or not very good, I hope you think about why. I hope you consider the reasons behind your thoughts from previous perspectives, including technical ones, and then develop those insights into your own skills. Game developers don't need to study anything else. If you can play a lot of games, analyze their strengths and weaknesses, and practice accordingly. I don't think the gaming industry is that difficult. I also strongly recommend learning English. Korea has a strong language proficiency. I hope you don't limit yourself to Korea and leverage your deep knowledge of online games. And hold on. I hope you don't limit yourself to Korea and leverage your deep knowledge of online games to expand globally. Think about how you'll compete in the global gaming industry and work hard. Those are the good advices. Not gonna lie, this is a fantastic advice. Even if Google Translate kind of butchered it, it's still very good advice. All right, next. It's been 10 years since you last spoke at G-Star. I'm curious about your thoughts. It's surprising, but if you search my name on Wikipedia, you'll see a photo from G-Star 2014. 12 years have passed, but I don't think I've changed much internally. It's been a long time, but I believe the passion, support, and encouragement from users around the world have allowed me to do this work without major injuries or illnesses. It's been a huge source of strength. I received a lot of letters of concern from users last week. I found out 4 bags of nutritional supplements on my office table. Upon checking, I found there were gifts from the users. That's adorable. People are concerned about his health, and people sending like a bunch of herb stuff and supplements to help him out. That's adorable. That's when you know you're a good developer, when the people like you and love you. Okay. Okay, this is about the cafe. It's not really talking much about 14. It's a permanent cafe for Korea. There's probably one in China. Opening a permanent cafe is careful consideration for profitability and business plan, proof that it's profitable, etc. This is again about the Japanese cafe, the Crystarium. So this is going to be a Crystarium cafe in Korea. That's great. It's amazing. Oyster Cafe. There was also a small event in New York over Final Fantasy 14 that had a cafe. That was awesome. I'm curious why you decided to open permanent cafe in Korea. I was going to say North Korea. No, in Korea before North America or Europe. And it's because Koreans are more passionate. Period. Let's be honest. Okay, they're talking about Final Fantasy merchandise. I would love to have a Warrior Light model kit that you can give him like different armor sets. That would be amazing. He can be like a paladin, a warrior, white mage, red mage, etc. Because as a model kit, it would be a lot easier. And it should bring both bodies, male and female body, and all the different faces for all the races. And of course, for the Rothgars and Brogadians, it's going to be bigger body. For the Midlander, bigger body. They should do that. A model kit. Okay, here we go. This is all like merchandising. The primals will perform in Korea. Soken schedule is very busy, so he probably won't, but maybe one day. So the future MMORPGs, Final Fantasy 14. I love this little drawing. All right. What are the main topics you like to discuss, and what feedback are you hoping to hear during your visit to Korea? When meeting users in any region, I don't want anything specific. I want to hear honestly what they're thinking, whatever it is. However, playstyles and preferences differ subtly by region. I think China and Korea have a strong tendency to customize their characters. He doesn't know about NA and all they're doing with their customizations, does he? Let's not forget Mayor. Anyways, probably has the highest play consumption of magic potions in the world. I think he's talking of Fantasia. So Korea has the highest play per player consumption of Fantasias. All right. So I'm looking forward to getting feedback on character customizations, desired costumes, and decorative elements. This is important. We have been asking for more character customization for a long time. I hope 8.0 can give us more character customization. That would be amazing. Okay, it says here, I used to think Korea was a market where PC game was overwhelmingly prevalent, but things have changed a lot since then. So I want to hear honestly what environments users typically play in, how much time to spend on Final Fantasy 14 per week, and their login and break patterns. Seeing data alone is different from hearing it in person. While I'm looking at the data, while I'm looking at the data, like what environments they play and how much they play each day, I appreciate hearing honest stories. Okay. Final Fantasy 14 is now moving forward to the next decade. We have a FanFest plan. My dyslexia is getting me. Anyways, focusing. Final Fantasy 14 is now moving forward into this next decade. We have a fan festival planned, and we have some pretty big announcements lined up. With the determination to embark on a second iteration, we're rethinking everything from scratch to evolve the game with new goals. In that regard, a crucial consideration is the user's available time. With limited available time, I like to hear about things like how long they can log in, how much they play after logging in, and what do they do. I think the game needs to adapt to that. Obviously, available time will vary by country, so I like to hear directly from users. All right. This is the topic people are talking about. Final Fantasy 14 is now moving forward into next decade. We have Fan Festival planned. We have pretty big announcements. And with its determination to embark on a second iteration. Does this mean that 8.0 is going to be the next A Realm Reborn? The next Cataclysm? I would not be surprised if it is. If they said there's going to be a big announcement in FanFest, we already know FanFest is the next expansion. So what other big announcement can it be? It could be that the new world that we're going to, it's either Bright Frost or Midicidia. That new world, we're going to start our adventures again. Maybe we're going to have to level from 1 to 100 again in that new world. And you're going to have new jobs, or they're gonna do a brand new leveling bracket that you still level 100, but you have to go through uh, leveling more. Like for example, it's like you're leveling, but you're getting skills and abilities to make your character as powerful. Are we gonna get a brand new zone where you level up from 1 to 100 for everyone, for all the users? Are they going to be bold enough to make it so you're in this new region, you're gonna have to level from 1 to 100 or 1 to 50, and your job class is gonna be now an advanced job class. You're still gonna have many similar skills, but the new skills that you will have in the expansion are now tacked in to the new leveling from 1 to 50, 1 100, whatever it's gonna be. Are they gonna be bold enough to do that, where they give you like an advanced job, but only that's gonna work on that region? Think of it of this way: Occult Crescent has its own leveling system. You go from 1 to 20. It has its own jobs. Is Occult Crescent a blueprint of what the next expansion is gonna be? If the new zone is gonna be like Occult Crescent, where you level from 1 to 100 or 1 to 50, but you're gonna have all these brand new job abilities, making refreshing on your classes and giving them more like identity to them. We have to wait and see. But I believe by this comment, something big is coming. What is it gonna be? I don't know. It could also be that we're going to be revamping the UI. We're going to be revamping how players communicate with their friend list. We're going to revamp the player finder, the party finder. I've said player finder, a party finder. We're going to revamp the friend list. We're going to revamp the block list. We're going to revamp the user interface in general for all of the game. Now it's going to be really, really good. So if they do, like, for example, Paladin, and you go to a new area and you get your new Paladin Advanced class, which would be like a Holy Knight, you still have your level 1 to 100 skills, but since you're now a Holy Paladin, you get the new skills that are supposed to become with every expansion. You get them as a Holy Paladin, and you have to level up. I don't know. Or maybe it's gonna be like a situation of World of Warcraft Legion, where in World of Warcraft, when in Legion you had your relic, your legendary weapon, and you had to level that up. Maybe they can do it in a way where instead of leveling up your character and getting new abilities, you get your new abilities by using your brand new relic, and you level the relic instead of your character. And when the relic is a maximum level, let's say level 10 or something like that, you basically are like a highest level right now. I don't think it's gonna be that convoluted. But one thing I do know about Yoshi-P is that whatever changes they make for Final Fantasy 14, they're not too convoluted. I honestly hope not. Like OC classes felt really tagged on and messed more with how your job plays and not. Yeah, but the OC job classes are just there for fun. They're not really to be taken seriously, right? But in a situation like in the expansion, right, I would say that if they went through that route where you had to level from 1 to 100 as a brand new job, I think that'll be okay. But I don't know. I think instead they're gonna make it the new player experience gonna be better. I don't think they're gonna raise from level 100. I think the level cap is gonna remain 100 because that's what they said they were going to do. They're still working on it. I think my bottom line is that they're not gonna make it convoluted. If they're gonna make it like you don't have to level from 100 to 110, etc., what they're gonna do is probably you have to level up to get your skills and abilities based off a brand new job. And that brand new job is like I said, let's for example, you're a paladin, you go into a new area, you're now a holy paladin, and you level from 1 to 100, and you unlock all your skills from 1 to 100, and the new ones that come with the expansion. Skills that actually fit your job class. Nothing too overpowered, nothing too ridiculous. That's what I think might happen. I might be entirely wrong. But it feels like we may have a brand new leveling route, because he's talking about player time, and he's considering them when available time and whatnot. And so maybe he's saying like it takes too long to get to the high level, to join my friends who are very high level. So I think FanFest 2026 is gonna be wild, and it's gonna be a lot of surprises and a brand new information, and I can't wait. Like over here, look. The MMORPG biggest dilemma is that it requires tons of time compared to the reduced player disposable time, which is a huge burden. Having run Final Fantasy for it's probably the same. Having played Final Fantasy 14 for a long time, you clearly seen and experienced these changes more clear than anyone else, which is why you mentioned earlier that you want to make changes in this regard. Could you elaborate on your thoughts on these changes? Okay, so it says here, it's difficult to give specific examples, but I'll try to be as specific as I can. In the past, MMORPGs were built around repetitive tasks known as a grind and time-consuming gameplay. However, things have changed since World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy as well. Okay. Let me see if I can read this sentence again. However, things have changed since World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy 14 as well. Go translate. For example, Final Fantasy 14 adopted a game design where no matter how busy you were, you could still manage to collect 450 elegant tombstones per week, which I hate. And I don't hate getting them. I hate that it's limited to only 450. It should be unlocked by now, Yoshi-P. It should be at least 800. Anyways. Furthermore, the two major updates were considered seasons, significantly increasing item levels. This means even if you took a break of about 6 months and returned, you quickly catch up with everyone else. This is a significant departure from past MMORPGs. This is true. This is very true. I find that 14 is easier to catch up than in World of Warcraft because of the crafted gear. World of Warcraft, you can do crafted gear, but to get like the highest level, you need to get ear scratching. Why do I have this? I don't need it right now. Anyways, World of Warcraft is a little bit more complicated to get the crafted gear to at least reach the same level as your peers in order to catch up. It's a little more complicated than 14. 14, you just have to buy or craft the latest gear and you're set. In Warcraft, you can craft your latest gear, but you also need to grind to get the tokens to upgrade that gear to be, for example, in World of Warcraft, if you want the gear to be 700, you have to have a gilded upgrade thingy. I forgot the name, what it was. It's not totem. It's called, you need a gilded version to upgrade your items to at least a heroic version, which is 680 or close to 700. It's a lot more convoluted in World of Warcraft than in Final Fantasy 14. And I like that. Okay, moving on. For example, okay, we read this. Final Fantasy 14 design up till now has been about keeping players engaged, even if they play for short periods of time. Yes and no. And this is why I kind of don't agree with this statement. Yes, there's a lot of things that keep you engaged. However, they're sometimes too easy that you can complete all those things in within a week, and then you have nothing else to do. That's a fact. Like, I know grinding every week for the 450 tomes is a thing, and doing all the raids every week, but once you got everything within a month or two, you have to then wait for the next patch. So the engagement kind of drops. And a lot of people get bored of that because it's always the same. So it's not that the engagement doesn't exist, it's just that it has become monotone and kind of boring. Anyways, continuing on. While collecting 450 tomestones is really understood by long-time Ffxiv players, it's difficult for new players, particularly those with smartphone-based online games or newer titles. To understand what happens after collecting 450 tomestones, it's difficult to grasp from. So basically, this horrible translated sentence is saying that people who are used to mobile gaming, they see that you have to grind for 150 and you have to wait a week. They see that as not fun. So it's harder for them to understand, even though mobile players grind more than MMORPG players, especially in 14. They will grind more. Why? Because it's fun. In 14, it's fun, but then it becomes so repetitive that you're like, okay, I'm done here. But then again, that happens with all games, right? From here on out, I'll give you an example. When logging in, the game asks the users, like, do you only have 2 hours to play? Do you want to get stronger today? Do you want to enjoy the story today? Once they make the decision, it suggests a playstyle. Oh, I hate the grind. I hate grinding. I hate it. But I do it in 14 because it's fun when you're doing the dungeons. You meet a bunch of new people and you're having fun with other people. But in mobile games, I hate it. Like right now, I'm grinding in example. I'm grinding in Dokkan. I'm doing it because I want to get my link levels. But I really hate it. I don't like this system. You had to spend hours and hours and hours for a mediocre reward. At least in 14, you get brand new gear and whatnot. Hold on. Yeah, so OC, my add-ons are Warcraft are giving problems. So Eureka and OC, you definitely need to do it with groups. Unlike Boss, you can pretty much do it all alone. And the grind in OC wasn't that great either. Or like the grind in so many games is just not that good, man. If they cut out grinds to do something better, yeah, that would be like, I would say dailies, or I don't know. I can't really think of anything right now that would be better, but I'm pretty sure there's something out there. Okay, so here, given the limited time players previously mentioned, I believe we have a clear path moving forward. In that sense, my current goal is to evolve the service. Okay, to put it bluntly, even if 450 Alagan tombstones might not be particularly valuable for those who don't care about item level. Okay, in that case, we can consider exchanging them for mounts, attractive gear, or something similar. I believe that these things, which have been taken for granted till now, can be elevated to a higher level in gaming services and entertainment, which is why I'm currently considering this direction. I hope to realize it near the future. However, I'll stop here, as if I say anything more, we'll hit competitors. So he's saying if we cap the Alien Tombstones, like just to get gear, that's boring. So he wants Alien Tombstones to also provide us with glamour and with mounts. That's great. That means that they're evolving the Alagam Tombstones like you always wanted to provide us even more stuff than just your gear. That's perfect because right now, let me switch over to the game real quickly. In the game, right now, I have this capped. I can buy materials, I can buy relics, right? If I cap it for this week, I can only buy gear. I really hope this means that he's going to remove the cap by making us decide if we want to gear up first or get the mounts. That, and since people don't do this because they don't care for getting the best gear, because they can just buy the crafted gear, you know, giving people more options is always welcomed in my eyes. Oh yeah, you see the because I was trying a mod earlier. Does it still work? Let me see. No. No matter. Okay, so I think this is great news that they're evolving the tome systems, and I just love Yoshi-P because he listens to the community. He listens to the feedback. It takes a while, but I think we finally starting to figure out why it's taking so long. They also have to take feedback from different regions. They have to do a bunch of stuff in different regions. Now that it's globally, I think moving forward, we're gonna see even further improvements to the game, and we're gonna see like all those grievances we have. They're gonna listen and probably update them and make them better. 100%. Yoshi-P is the GOAT. Yoshi-P is one of the things I wanted to fix and overhaul is the housing system. I just don't want housing to be like limited. I think they need to add more wards and make it so it's one house per account. So you have an account, you cannot make a house, you cannot buy a house on a different server if you already have a house in for example, if I have a house in Crystal data center, you cannot under that account you cannot go to Primal and get a house. No, one house for all. That would be massive. Not only that, you're gonna remove all the dumb idiots who have houses for the submarines. They just go into the submarines and they forget everything. If they forget they even have a house. So I would like to see that change. All right. So, one house per character, yeah. Let's do the roulettes. That Yoshi-P interview was really good. Not gonna lie. I kind of want to finish my relics. I want the relics by now because they look pretty cool. So we're gonna do a trial. I think we're gonna do trial. Oh. I might actually complete this. So we're gonna go. I'm gonna go as a red mage. I've been digging red mage lately. Let me put something in the chat real quickly. Not in the chat, on Discord. All right. Let's go. We already did the leveling, the high leveling. We don't have to do that anymore. Let's go to trial. Please be a good trial. If it's a high level trial, I will definitely get my second combination or ether array, ether well array. Then all that's left is the alliance and the normal raids. I think I'm gonna grind alliance. Those are the ones that take the longest. Alliance take like half an hour. This is what really angered me about this step of the relic, is that basically this step of the relic, you don't even touch occult crescent, and I think they missed the mark with that. Like, why would you do that? You add a occult crescent and you don't add this stuff? Come on. I haven't gone to a, like, I have no purpose to go to occult crescent. In fact, let me go there right now. Oh wait, if I go to occult crescent, I cannot even queue. That's true. Remember, guys, you can now enjoy the Rogamania broadcast without any ads. If you want to support the Rogamaniac, you can do so by, if you want to, you can spread the word. You can subscribe if you want to. You're not obligated. You don't have to. There's no ads, no reason to do so. Or donate. You don't have to donate at all. But, you know, just letting you know, if you ever want to help. It's not necessarily. You're not obligated to do so. Yeah, if I, no, the passage, the Phantom Village is fine. Is that if I try to queue inside Occult Crescent is where I have the issues. I can get a new Phantom weapon, but I could, but I really should save it until I get my next part on the relic. Let me see Red Mage real quickly. Man, red weapons aren't that great. Some look beautiful, but others, like this one, is all right, I guess. Looks like a little wand instead of a sword. What does Pictomancer look like? That looks all right. Viper, I already have it. They look okay. Ninja looks nice. Monk looks decent. Yeah, it looks okay. But for Monk, I got the Arc Veil. It looks awesome. And it fits this glam. That's true. 7.4 is gonna release all the glamour limitations. I'm looking forward to that. I already made a bunch of glamours for 7.4. For example, I got this one for Ninja. This glamour looks awesome and is often ignored. This comes from the PP sets. You want to see the best part of it? Look at that. He's beautiful. That's for my Ninja, and this is basically aiming set. And this is going to be my healer set. Can't wait. I should close. Oh, you're not closing. Yeah, I'm going to prepare more stuff as we get closer. Oh, it's Chiva. Well, it's an easy one. I haven't done this fighting. No. Well, I used to solo this fight a lot. I got more glamour for 7.4 ready, but I have to use a mod that saves glamours, so I cannot show that on the stream, of course. Okay, fix this. Oh, oh, here. Oh, come on! I moved away in time. Stupid game. All I know about red mage is that you gotta get around 50 or 60 or 72 or something like that, and then dash in and start killing people. Which I will do after this. There we go. Oh, she left. No, my sword's flying. Oh, why she step on me, brah? Stone or thunder. Oops, use for thunder. Oh, she's dead. No, don't leave. All right. Yes, it's completed. All right, so Alliance raid. I need to do Alliance raid and normal raids. Those are the annoying ones. Let me check my Dokkan. Keep doing the stupid grind. Sorry, guys. I gotta answer this real quickly. Oh, yeah, that's why. All right, I did Q, right? I'm number 2 out of 7. Okay. Look at this row. Oh, sorry, Rugadi. Look at this distinguished Rugadin. My, how distinguished character you are. He's a beautiful Rugadin, and I love his beard. We should have that beard, man. Maybe we will. Who knows? I hate beards. I personally do not like beards. I tried to grow a goatee, too itchy, be gone. I mean, true, but what character does it need? Does my white mage have a... White mage is 90. I thought it was 100. My scholar is 100 because of my summoner. Who doesn't have? Let me see. Who doesn't have? Uh, Dragoon has 732. He has a very old spear. Oh no, that's the value spear. That's the spear from Arkvale. Okay. You have a crappy scythe. Let's upgrade you. Screw it. No, it's just 3. Phantom. Um, War Scythe. There you go. Do it. Level up Rugadin. Level them up. I learned that the real name, the real pronunciation for that race is Rugadin. For me, will always be Rogadin. Oh, that safe looks awesome. Nice, 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 nice. All right, so that basically means I have how many relics do I have now? Let's see. Oh crap! I gotta get rid of this. No, dude, I want the sword, not the scout. Woo, woo! I will be very sad if that happened. Okay, got a historian sword, phantom, Botadich, guillotine, bayonet, blade. Yeah, we don't need this. Night Wolf. That's the dragoon. What's it look like? It looks all right. Let's return the inventory. Okay, so machinist has that. Oh crap. Come on, Alliance Ray. Don't be boring. Don't be Crystal Tower, for the love of God. Come on, dude. Come on. Oh, yeah, this one is fine. keep forgetting about that. Don't worry about that. I'm not using any mods. Character configuration, legacy type. Whee! Oh, you guys have no sound. My bad. That's on me. Sorry. Keep forgetting about that. Oh no, girl, you gotta move from there, buddy. Here we go. Ah, crap. No sound still? Hold on. Let's go up. We're going up, up, up. In this raid, we're gonna do our best. I don't know how to sing. Oh, I freaking love Demon Hunters. All right, which way? This way. There we go. Oh, crap. I forgot. Someone used rescue, and I love him for that. My hand's going numb. I hate this. Come on, guys. Bring it together. Bring it together. Second will be it. Crap. I know. Oh, they already started the fight? Jesus. Emboldened. Oh, Cowstool! Between tentacles. Fine. Oh god, I'm getting bleedings. We're bleeding. Targeting. No more flams. Wait, we just killed him. He died and he made me slow. Bastard. Spread him. Return to me, my wave crests. Or something. Get rid of them. Wait. Yay, we level up. All right, so how much that gave me? All right, not bad. We were at what? Damn, that's a lot of experience points. 94, not bad. We were at, let me see. Poetics, don't care. Poetics. Trying to think. How many points did that give me? Okay, here we are. 593. I guess I gotta do like 5 more of these. 5 more of these. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and start getting ready to prepare dinner, guys. I may come back tonight. I don't know yet. So until then, guys, I'll see you all later. Thank you so much for joining me. The future of Final Fantasy 14 is looking very bright. So I'll see you all guys later. Take care.